Hello and welcome to the pre-final segment for GWENT World Masters Season 3 Final. Yes, you will see the final players take it away soon, but before that, we will be talking about the future. And when we'll be talking about the future, we will have Jason and Vlad. So roadmap for next year, plus a little bit about Project Golden Necker. And after that, you will have me and Jean talk about the changes coming on December 7th with update 9.6. It's going to be crazy. We also will be leaking the last cards, so don't miss that. And yeah, I think that's it. And I also will probably close this video so we have a nice ending to take it away and throw it back to the games. And yeah, without further ado, Jason and Vlad, take it away.
Vlad.
Hello there. Hey.
Hey!
Long time no see, Jason.
This is Buja's chair. Did you kidnap him for me as I asked? So I can have his role for a change? That's my return. It's nice to see you.
Yes, it's been a while.
It's nice to be here. Actually.
Where you've been?
I've been in a dark cave contemplating the meaning of life.
That's important.
I've been preparing to work on some exciting new opportunity within CDP actually. So yeah, there's exciting stuff for me coming down the line eventually, and well, what does that mean for Gwent, right?
And what I'm doing here.
What are you doing here? Why am I talking to you? So just as a quick introduction, for the better part of this year, Vlad has actually been in the driver's seat at the helm of the tugboat, bringing Gwent forward and making sure that things keep running smoothly and that you guys get all the content while I take care of myself and the things that I had to do and where I'm going. And so I have every confidence that you will be the guy, the chosen one to guide Gwent moving forward for now. So
thank you.
Without focusing too much on that, because why?
No, just let me say that I'm definitely super excited about this. In my whole career, I never dreamed that there might be the day that I will be in charge of my favorite game as well. And you know, I'm playing all kinds of modern digital CCGs.
You got a card this year, is that why?
Yes, definitely. No. But you know, I still haven't found anything even remotely close to Gwent in terms of the art style, in terms of the core gameplay uniqueness. So this is a huge privilege.
I mean, your passion makes me feel comfortable being able to move on to my new challenges. And well, okay, so it's roadmap time. Usually it's Buja interviewing me, asking me a bunch of questions, and this year is kind of as a way of handling this, well, I'm going to be Buja.
So this is I feel it's almost like an exam, but yeah.
Are you ready for the test? I'm going to interview you.
Let's do this.
Check if you actually have a good plan and a strategy. Yeah, let's see.
Yes, let's do this. So, as always, end of the year, December, this is a time for roadmaps. It's time to look into the future, see what's in the cards.
You do know. All right. Well, all right, speaking of what's in the cards, like how do we plan to handle new cards, expansions, all that stuff moving forward?
So as you guys know, we experimented a lot over the years with different cadence of card releases. We had years in which we had only 2 releases per year. We had, like last year, we
have experimented quite a bit. Yeah?
Quite a bit, and we always were looking for this perfect spot.
So what's the new experiment this time?
Yes, let's experiment some more. Actually, after Price of Power experiment this year, we've noticed that, well, every 2 months cadence is quite ambitious. It's very cool for the engagement, right? Like we only released the previous expansion, new one is already knocking on the door. That was a cool part. However, it also introduced some issues with us not being able to catch up with the meta all the time, you know, with the balancing stuff and with this cadence.
So you're saying it hampered your ability to really
the truth is
polish the meta as much as you would have liked. Yeah?
We always have to, you know, develop things ahead, right? So in this sense, every 2 months, putting quite a big pressure on our team in terms of making sure that we are flexible enough and we're reacting to the actual problems, changes.
I just laugh and smile a bit because I know at least one designer who would it's not about meta, it's about the tools and the cards availability. The meta is what naturally happens. We don't have control over that, right?
This as well, right? So we analyzed your feedback as well, because I know this question was discussed by the community. What's the perfect cadence of card releases? And we arrived at the conclusion that once every quarter, so once every 3 months.
So 1 month
nice
longer
spot.
between, right?
Yes. That will give us a bit more time to like properly plan everything, and I think in general that will keep the whole year interesting.
And when does that start?
Okay, so we have the card release right now this month, but next year you can expect the first cards being available in April. So
okay,
yeah, and then every 3 months.
Beginning of April, end of April.
Beginning.
Okay. Probably didn't plan to say that. I'm gonna interview for you guys. I'm gonna get the truth out of this guy.
Oof. Right. So 4 card releases per year.
Yeah.
It's worth to mention, and you guys probably can see it on the screen, like the second card release of the year is going to be more in line with our traditional approach to expansions. Common theme, lore,
So
new mechanics.
Some new mechanics can still be expected with this. Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
And
While the other card releases would be a bit more similar to what we're doing this month, with 12 cards being released in December, mostly targeted in supporting the old archetypes, gluing everything together.
We did it with the leader update
In March.
In March, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. So something
absolutely.
similar to that is the goal, right? And that was actually pretty fun, right? Like it definitely felt like as soon as we balanced it a little bit, that was a really good time for Gwent this
Agreed.
year. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. When it comes to these card drops, okay, cool. New content is great. But like, does that mean that between these card drops, anything is changing? What could players expect?
So nothing is changing in terms of our monthly cadence of balance updates and changes to the game. Like for sure, we do realize that it's important to react to any issues that might arise, and making spice up the meta and the balance of the game on a regular basis. So monthly updates you can still expect, nothing changing in this regard. And of course, with every card release, you can expect a bigger impact on the gameplay of the game.
Okay, I think we'll talk a bit more about that later. I think was the plan, but for now, let's maybe switch to journeys. What's the plan for journeys moving forward?
Yeah, it's another important topic. So,
by the way, has everyone bought Regis Journey? It's pretty awesome.
I surely hope so.
That one was a lot of work, right?
Our first vampire journey as well.
Three states, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was
pretty amazing one. So the most important thing that will happen with journeys next year is based actually on your feedback, guys. It's about bringing old journeys back.
Okay.
So we received multiple requests to do that.
Right, that's something we've been talking about for a long time, right? Like it's not a new topic for us.
It's not an easy one to handle as well, right? Like we want also to always wanted to make sure that it's fair for people who bought these old journeys or maybe completed them before. So we're not immediately making them available immediately after you just completed it, grinded the hell out of it.
Right.
We want to ensure that people will have enough time to enjoy it.
We've done a lot of steps to remove a bit of this FOMO grind problem, right? We never really wanted people to have to live in their basement to get all the fun content out of journeys. Yeah?
It's funny that you mentioned this, because we were taking it one step further with bringing all journeys back.
Right.
So not only all previously released journeys will be back next year, but also we're making them
for
infinite.
free, right?
For those who already had them.
Right,
yes,
okay.
Like for example,
So if you've already bought Series Journey, you don't have to buy it again to
exactly.
finish it.
I think Series Journey is a good example that I think many players were not able to finish it. It was a really challenging one. So if you already have it in your collection, so to say, but it's not available to you, once it's back, you will be able to complete it at no extra charge. But important thing, new journeys are infinite. Like there is no more time limit.
There's no more clock.
There's no more timer, no more
talk. Doesn't that like kind of take away from people who like, let's say, did work really, really hard to get that level 175 Siri kimono?
I surely hope not. I hope that we actually waited long enough for people to enjoy this trinkets and this.
Right. So our stance is essentially it was a time exclusivity, right? Like
Yes.
your hard work still gave you Siri Kimono for at least a year more than
Yes.
anyone else could have gotten it now, and
Yeah,
that's not nothing, right?
absolutely, and I think we need to take new players' perspective into account here as well. Like we deeply care about veteran players and those who are supporting us. It's we're really grateful for your support and contribution. Also, new players. It's easier to understand their frustration when they're seeing this cool content in the game, which they didn't even have a chance to purchase or to obtain in the first place. So we want to make it as fair as possible for both sides of the equation.
Does this mean that we might add content to old Journey characters? Like, I could think of some things that we never did with Geralt that maybe might be cool to do
We're
one
actually
day.
already doing this, kinda, right? Like producing more trinkets that will go together with the old skins from Journeys. But yeah, definitely we will continue to do that. Actually, on this topic,
Right.
for those who don't like to wait, for those who don't want to wait for
This
next
guy.
year, yeah, we do have a nice surprise coming this month later. It's Geralt
like
skin,
surprises.
Geralt Journey skin. We're bringing him back to the shop. You will be able to get it if you didn't have this skin from the original Journey.
Wait, does that mean the old Journeys are all coming back in December?
No, only Geralt skin will come back, but our promise that if you will purchase it to play with Geralt, because you don't want to wait, once Geralt Journey is available, it will be this purchase will count as a full Journey purchase.
Available, what are we talking about? End of next year?
So you could take a look at the roadmap, right? And
No, I can't.
No, but I'm sure they can, right? So
Yes, I'm sure they can.
you can see that in May we will have Geralt and Ciri journeys available, and then
Progressively
we will add more old journeys to the mix, and you will be able to progress them one at a time.
Right. Does that mean that like maybe the Geralt journey might rotate out at some point in the future again, or?
No, once it's back, it's back.
It's more about like we have to spend the time to re-add all that
Yes.
progression back in. Okay.
And also, as you can see, hopefully on the roadmap screen, there is one new journey which we're still planning
returning, yeah.
to add. No, the
An
brand
actual new one? Oh,
Yes,
good. I was
absolutely.
afraid from all
so
this
after
talk of-
after Regis, there will be
Right.
another one which is based on a character previously not featured in any journeys. That will be like the last original journey to be released next year. It doesn't mean that we will never ever release any original content there.
Okay, good, because I like my journey.
We would like to keep this
I think there's
door
lots
open.
of characters I'd still like to see. Gwent.
Gwent's universe is huge for this. Like we
Yeah.
have
The
very
Gwent
cool
universe?
ideas. Yeah, well.
No, I'm kidding. You know what I mean.
Yes.
The Witcher universe.
You know, taking it over.
Okay, so that sounds exciting. So maybe it's not as much new content, but definitely it'll have a lot for players to do. And for anyone that join
Later.
than when we started these journeys, that's a lot of new interesting content they can interact with. So that's cool.
Yep.
Now since we're at the Masters, is there, we're on a train now, yeah? Season 2,
Feels good.
1 year, Season 3, done this year, no more delays, we've got our cadence down, we've got Season 3 wrapping up right now. Tell me there's going to be a Season 4, Mr. New Game Director.
Yes, I can officially confirm Season 4 is coming. It's really, it feels good to be back on track. So no more delayed events. This year we managed to close this chapter, feeling good about it.
Yeah.
So next season of Masters,
What's changing, right?
So let me start with what not changing.
All right, sure.
We would like to keep the format in which players who will be qualifying for the events, it will be mostly based on their tournament performance. So online qualifiers,
Right,
and
right.
in terms of World Masters, it's the same,
opens as well,
opens
yeah.
as well. So this part is cool. We don't want to change it. Still, ladder position matters, but not as much as it used to be in earlier seasons. So this part we like.
A little less grindy, hopefully.
Yes, yeah, definitely. What is changing, however, is that we would like to connect opens next year with card releases, meaning that opens actually will precede the card release, so we can have something similar to what we're having right now. Talking
4
about
card
reveals.
releases, 4 opens.
Actually, the fourth event will be World Masters,
right?
So
Okay.
it means 3 opens.
It means 3 opens
During the year, or with World Masters, as always, in December, just before the December card release. And yeah, like with this change, like still the whole year will be full of esports competitive activity.
Okay.
And one more thing about this, if you guys remember, for last couple of years we had these esports products which are contributing to the prize pool.
Yeah, some beautiful ones this year, right?
Yeah, really exciting
The
boards.
seasonal theme, I really liked it. Yeah.
So for 2 years straight, we contributed 30% of earnings on these products to the respective prize pools of events. And starting from next year, we're increasing this percentage to 50. So now it's more equally distributed. It's 50% going to prize pool.
One for me. One for you. One for me.
Yeah, exactly. And another 50% would be directed.
The accountants are happy. It's easier to count at the end of the day.
Yes, you can just split it in half, and the rest.
That's how it works, right? Someone's just taking your esport purchases and
yes,
making little piles of green money.
Absolutely, that's exactly how it's working.
Exactly.
I'm sure.
Or coins at this point, I guess. Yeah. But like, okay, so we have esports. We talked about the you wanting to do balance patches between the card drops and we're tying them to the esports and all that. But like, what about like the meta diversity, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know like we don't control the meta, and we kind of made a little joke about that earlier, but we do have a huge influence on it, probably more than anyone else, right? Because what we do will affect it. So like, what are some of the challenges with meta diversity you want to kind of focus on moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So one challenge which I see with the meta diversity is that, we know a lot of people not really flexible or willing to experiment with deck building, right?
Right. Is it okay?
It's
hard. It's scary.
It's scary, and we totally
There's a lot
get
of cards
it.
in Gwent, right?
That's why we have even the official services like GWENT library
to give people some tools.
To give people some tools, and also content creators can contribute to the content creation and come up with the deck guide for the most powerful deck in history of Gwent. Meta breaker. Top 1.
100% win rate.
Yes.
I played it 12 times. Clearly, you can never lose.
So of course we would like for all of this to continue. This is this hype is great. I think that when it comes problematic is when people losing motivation, players losing motivation to try something else, right? And we get it. Like when there is something which is being perceived as just better.
The card drops every 2 months didn't help with that, right? Like
the time is so short that you want to play like the most optimal, the most powerful, or the one that is being perceived the most powerful.
Right.
Deck, just not to lose out on anything. So how we would like to approach it is we would like to give more options to players, right? Like what it means actually. It means that we can go back to the archetypes, which currently not receiving the
like what's up with
attention.
vampires? I mean,
it's been in a rough spot for a long time.
Right? Like, come on. We put Deadlaugh, we put Unseen Elder, these buffs. It got kind of interesting, and then so quickly faded away.
So
I like to suck blood in my card games.
You're absolutely right, and you're not alone in this. We recognize that it's one of the archetypes which deserves more love. That's what we're doing with this update this month already.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so that's actually a great example of how we're planning to approach this archetypes in next year as well. I'm sure there are plenty of those in Gwent which are.
They come. They have their
right?
days of glory, and then they kind of fade away. Do you think that you guys will be able to like hit all archetypes, all decks have their equal glory all the time?
No, it's not possible, with one update to rule them all, to fix everything simultaneously at the same time. We will be, doing it step by step. But of course, it doesn't mean that we will be, slow on purpose with this. It just we would need to
take our time with the balance.
Yeah.
Old game developer. Okay, but like when we talk about that diversity, like, isn't the thing that killed the diversity a bit like the power creep that people see with things like price of power, right?
I feel, power creep is a buzzword that is being used quite often.
All right, so here's what we do with buzzwords. Define
Yes.
power creep for me.
Yes, so let's define it. So power creep happens when there is an old card, which is being basically replaced by newer card being released by us, which does the same job but strictly better, right? It's just like a better version of the card arrives and you don't have a motivation to play it anymore because why should you? You will get more value out of the new one.
I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot because we never discussed this, but isn't it also like a card coming in and reactivating other cards and interacting with other cards can also, in a way, create a power creep as well?
Absolutely, like this can happen from time to time, and we saw examples like this when whole decks, the whole archetypes are being considered by the community as being power crept simply because, let's say, there are better alternatives in the same factions, or more damage to deal, or more points.
It's not always about a card. Sometimes it's about an archetype as well.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
So
what are we going to do about it? What's the solution?
There is one solution which people keep bringing up, and we know that some other CCGs went this route, which is the set rotations.
Oof.
Yeah,
I've never liked that word.
Always a hot topic, and always something that players are considering as an ultimate solution. We don't like this that much, even though it's extremely liberating for our designers. I'm sure designers probably would even celebrate if we would decide to go this route.
My problem with set rotations is it takes something away, right?
Exactly. That's the problem about it.
It's an easy way out, right? It's like, let's take it away and just try again and build from somewhere else. I've never been a fan of that.
Personally, I think that set rotations could be an interesting experiment in some kind of a seasonal format in which there is artificial meta existing for some period of time.
Where maybe like a Saboteur, an archetype would rotate out and rotate in just to kind of create a new environment, right?
Exactly.
But not like these cards are old and they don't matter anymore. And maybe we'll just reprint them, slightly changed. You have to buy them again.
The biggest negative impact of set rotations is actually on players who care about their collections, who care about the cards that they have this emotional attachment to.
It's a lot of work to get all the cards.
Do you want Vanilla Geralt to be ever rotated out of the game? I mean, or what was your favorite card? I don't know. Is it Walter Veritas?
Of course it's Walter.
Okay, so do you want it to rotate out of the game?
I've asked him to be buffed so many times. I want him to be the top of the meta, right?
Maybe that's another example of the card which is not exactly viable and we need to do something about it one day.
Please.
So set rotations not really.
So not set
solution.
rotations. Then does that mean we're giving up, or do you have another idea in mind?
No, we're not giving up. There is another way, which is actually bringing back old cards or old archetypes in some cases to the modern power level. Of course, modern power level also can shift, and it can be
it's a hard thing to keep at a specific level, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's simple math.
Yes, it's not constant, right? It's shifting. But we do realize that there is a lot of cards in the game which are not being actively used.
Are we ever gonna change the wolf pack?
Maybe. The wolf pack is actually one example of the card which doesn't look strong on itself by being this very generic neutral, I would say. But then let's imagine that the beast archetype will be focused one day. It might find its place even without changing its stats. But
buff wolf pack is always there. See, now I can.
I didn't know you're also a fan of wolf packs, but apparently.
It's not gotten its fair due for too long, and I have fond memories of when Leshen used to come out and spawn.
These.
Yeah, I want to see them on the board again.
Yeah, that's true. But I think on the other hand, some of the archetypes of old, like hand buff, for example, they saw the second coming, so to say, with Price of Power. We actually managed to
without actually going too far.
Without over buffing it, we just added additional tools.
Hand buff?
Yeah. We managed to make it viable. Maybe not competitively viable, not in the tournament meta anyway, but still, it's a fun deck to play these days.
So what does that mean though? What's the strategy going to be? How are you going to choose focus? You're just going to increase the provisions on every card?
No, it's for some cards it will work like this.
Right.
It's exactly what they needed, like the small provision.
Just going down to the Was it the only gold card with 5 provisions still, or?
No, I don't think so.
We got another one?
I don't remember, actually.
I remember it was kind of like, holy crap, we put Maxia at such a low provision for a gold. It was kind of controversial, but hey, she wasn't playable. Provision goes down. She's completely viable, right? We've seen a lot of her since we've done that.
Yeah, I think in many cases the provision buff or nerf is something that would drastically change the behavior of the card and its popularity.
I remember back in the day when we used to just do like a provision buff from, let's say, like 5 to 4 provisions, and people like, that doesn't change anything. And now I think we've all learned that sometimes one provision makes a huge difference. It matters a lot.
Like, look at the...
Especially at the low bronze provision.
Yeah, like there are multiple examples actually for changes like that. But that's not the only tool in our toolbox. Like sometimes everything that the underdeveloped archetype or not used card needs is just more support. It can arrive in the form of the new card releases. And actually with this December update, that's exactly what we're doing. We're changing some of the existing cards, but we're also adding new cards to the game to work with these archetypes.
I like new cards, and there's going to be some really cool, some new arts, right? We're not just bringing back all arts. We're actually making some. They're not leader cards, right?
Not exactly, right? But
there's some of the old, some of the new cards are old leader cards. Some of them are similar but brand new and quite fantastic looking.
So yeah, there are multiple ways to approach this, and we are committed to gradually improve the variety of the method, just to make it more enjoyable, to give you guys more options in the deck builder, more options when you're deciding what kind of deck you would like to play within your favorite faction, or when you want to switch between factions.
So maybe kind of improvising and throwing an unplanned question at you. You're welcome. In the past, we talked about things like, hey, we want to redo draft mode or some big features coming next year. What's the big features that you're planning next year? So
the biggest feature that we're planning for next year would be actually making the old archetypes viable, right? That's our biggest commitment there.
So you're saying like your plan next year is to, instead of trying to do big, huge,
we're not going extensive
changes,
here.
You wanna just take what we have and just mold it into the best that it can be.
I believe that's the single one thing which maybe keeps some players not happy about the state of GWENT. Like if we will be able to tackle it effectively, I'm sure like it will be a completely different impression on their side. It doesn't mean, of course, that we will not do some things which we used to do. Like, for example, the primification of tokens, the infamous topic. It's something that we definitely will be delivering. Already mentioned draft will be released, right? Like it needs to go out of the
we're not going to stay
early
in beta
access
forever and pretend like it never gets released.
I just don't want, to label it as the biggest feature that we are working on, because it's not. Like for me, the meta diversity is a much bigger priority and much bigger focus area for next year.
So from our conversations, it feels to me, and maybe you can clarify that you feel like GWENT is at a state where a lot of things are either in a good place or
already
close
there
to a good place, and now it's more about polishing and adding some diversity and playing with the tools that we have rather than going to 5 rows. Or some big change up that completely rewrites the whole formula. Right?
In the year after Homecoming, I remember how our priority was to expand the card pool drastically. Like we actually released 4 expansions during this year. It was like, ooh, what a year it was, huh?
Most people didn't think we could do it in the team.
Like,
no, that's too many cards.
We also had this challenge of releasing on mobile platforms as well. So like we had the challenges ahead of us, which were directed into going as wide as possible, so more cards, more platforms, more of everything, and sometimes it comes at the cost of not going deeper with what we already have, right?
Not giving that second look or that polish on some features or some menus. And we've been able to do a few of those over the last 2 years.
Some small wins definitely happened along this.
But hopefully we can do more of that kind of thing next year, right?
With a focus, we will. Yes.
So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to see what you guys can do with that kind of focus, because
I'm excited too.
I feel like there's so many features in GWENT where there's these little things that we know we want to do, but some big challenge or big thing has stopped us from focusing on them. And hopefully
prioritization
next year
problem.
should be about really refining and polishing the rough edges still in Gwent. So
Exactly. Yes.
I wish you guys a lot of luck with that. And
Thank you.
one more thing
Yeah.
before we go, we've been teasing for a long time now.
Yeah.
This project Golden Necker, tell me it's time to reveal it.
No. Sorry about that.
But it's coming so soon.
Yes, it is. It is actually
So much work and love.
announcement is truly coming soon. I wanted to stress that the project is on. It's in development. Not killed.
Never forget.
Never forget. Keep spamming it in the chat. Definitely, that will speed things up.
Definitely makes reveals happen. Yeah.
Yes. We want to announce stuff that we're working on when the time is right. Meaning that we have all the materials lined up. We have all the nice presentation for you guys and for the rest of the audience. So, sure, we can still tease a thing or two, which we will do at the end of our transmission here. And what I wanted to say also is that I'm really excited about this project coming together. I hope you will like it as much as I do.
There's been a lot of love and good nuts. So without further ado, we're going to say goodbye while you stare at beautiful leaks from the Project Golden Necker. We will say nothing else about them. And while you look at them, I just want to say that I'm really excited about moving forward. I think, you're the right man for the job. There's definitely really interesting things that we talked about before, and I'm excited to see what happens. And who knows, I might drop into the tavern every now and then and still
you're always
hide
welcome
behind
here.
a chair, try to tickle Buja. You know how it's fun to tickle Buja. We'll see, right? I'm still lurking in the shadows as a friend and a huge supporter and fan of Gwent. That's never going to change.
Thank you, and definitely hope that we will, don't let you down in this.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Anyways, thanks guys. Have a good one. Now to
Buja and Jean with the overview of 9.6 update.
Ooh, what a video! Yeah,
Some spicy leaks are waiting for you there as well. I hope you guys will enjoy it.
Have a great.
Signing off.
Was it Masters finale
Yes.
coming up after this? Yeah. So have a great Masters finale.
See you guys.
Bye.
All right, welcome back. Well, that was an interesting one. I'm here with Jean, our
Hey!
game designer. Jean, how are you doing?
Great! Exciting stuff to talk about, right?
Yep, we'll be talking about update 9.6, which is coming on December 7th, like I said in the beginning. And we'll be going through also the 6 remaining cards, because you saw the first 6 this weekend, and we'll be recapping with the last 6, so don't miss that. We also will be talking about how that influences the balance changes and more. So yeah, Jean, it's gonna be an interesting one too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, we'll be going as always faction by faction, and we'll be starting with monsters. So let's jump straight into it. The card that we want to show here is my boy Regis Reborn. So he's a legendary, of course, a unit, a vampire, 1 power, 13 provision. Deploy, drain an enemy unit by 3 at the end of your turn while on hand or deck. If there is an enemy unit with bleeding, increase own base power by 1. Oh my god, he starts with a 1. I was like, why is he 1 for 13 provision? But if you have bleeding going on, he grows.
Yeah.
What's up with him?
So, the return to vampire, right? This is the first super exciting thing. So our intention with Regis is to offer vampires with a finisher, because they were struggling, right, historically in short rounds, and is carryover based. But so that kind of give this side game plan for vampires to like keep that bleeding going, so that their Regis is growing.
Oh, nice. So when it comes to balance changes, are we seeing some changes to vampires?
Yeah,
also
absolutely.
With this update? Okay.
Absolutely. We're giving more helps to vampires. So the first thing is that we've slightly reworked Flatter to make it into a more powerful engine, 6 provision. And we've completely reworked Catachan.
Ooh.
Yeah. Catachan used to be a bit of an oddball in vampires, because Death Wish wasn't really something that vampires were doing, right? And Thrive was a bit hard for vampires to trigger. So completely rework, and Catachan is now a very proactive play, right? Which is going to give vampires more way to profit from putting bleeding on.
Nice. Nice. That's really cool. Anything else to mention here?
Yeah, a bit of buffs to Alp, Necrat, and Gal. So like power being increased by 1, provision being lowered in the case of Gal. Yeah.
Nice. And I think this is something that will be taken in a very positive way by the community, because a lot of people were asking for vampires to actually, become stronger, get more tools, and
especially
also,
with the journey, right?
Yeah. It's all thematic here. So with the Regis journey, it makes total sense. So that's one thing for monsters, but I think there's also something else. I think there's one more thing connected to Death Wish and some balance changes there.
So with Arak as Queen, we are also bringing more support to Death Wish. So we've introduced changes to Abaya, to Brewus, Myrolorn, and Withus Incantation. All of them basically with the intention of making them more flexible. So for instance, Abaya is now able to trigger the Death Wish of any unit, not only bronzes, right?
Well, that's really cool.
And we've added a consume on order for Withus, which also, Withus Incantation, right? Which also should make her more flexible and should allow her to build up a body so that she's harder to remove.
Nice. Well, that's really cool. So those are the things you wanted to highlight for monsters?
Yes.
Perfect.
These are the main things.
Nice. Of course, there will be more changes, which you will see in the patch notes closer to the release. But yeah, you're getting this information quite early because there's still a little bit time till the update. But yeah, I'm really happy that we're doing this segment. Moving on, we have the mighty Empire of Nilfgaard. And we have Jan Calveit, right?
Yeah.
Or
I'm trying to get people to call him Jean Calveit. I've been having much success.
So Jean Calveit in this case, also a legendary unit. Human aristocrat, of course. 8 power, 10 provision. Deploy. Sort cards in your deck from the highest to the lowest provision cost. Okay. At the start of the game, move self up by 1 position in the deck for each tactic in your starting deck. Oh my god, this is such a cool ability.
I'm gonna give a bit of an example for the passive because I think it can be a bit hard sometimes to understand. So at the start of the game, your deck has been shuffled, right? So imagine that Jean Calveit is in the 17th position of your deck. Well, if you have 10 tactics in your deck, he's going to be moved to the 7th one, right? And after that, you draw your 10 cards, which are going to be your hand, and so he's going to be in the 7th position of your hand. So you got him. That's pretty cool, right?
Nice. Interesting. He's also moving on up in the deck, so he's like becoming, better and better and better. Nice.
Something we really like about Jan Calveit and Aldol is that they give different kind of support to tactics, where you also have payoff for running more tactics than multiples of 4, right?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
And something I enjoy about Jan Calveit is that if you play him with Enslave 6, well, in the very worst scenario where your Jan Calveit was at the bottom of the deck, well, if you're on blue coin, you're gonna be able to find him on your 3rd mulligan.
Nice.
That's assured.
That's crazy. Yeah, so he's guaranteed in this case.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool. Moving on to other balance changes now, we have tactics as our first topic.
Yeah. So with the arrival of these 2 cards, a bit more help to tactics in the form of Fire Scorpion becoming cheaper by 1 provision and also losing its armor due to this. And Venedal Elite going to 5 power. Which should give them a nice point slam proactive play, right?
Agreed.
As a side note, we are also buffing Alfling Scythecracker, which is like kind of the similar design card but that you can find in Syndicate.
All right, cool. Really, really cool stuff. When it comes to a little bit of adjustment on the nerf side, there are, I think, 2 cards that we want to mention here.
Yes.
What are they?
Arto Terra Nova, the famous one.
Of course, or infamous.
Yeah, infamous. And Brathen. So in both cases, we are increasing their provision by 1.
Okay.
So I think Brathen is going to 11, Arto Terra Nova to 13. The intention with this one, so like Nilfgaard has not necessarily been the heart of discussions lately, but what we've seen is that it had very great success on the very top of the leaderboard, And we think that one of the reasons is that it's too easy for Nilfgaard to fit all of them, all of their very big payoff cards, right? And so with these changes, we intend to make it a bit harder for them to do so.
Okay, makes total sense. Nice. So that concludes Nilfgaard in this case. We're moving on to one of my favorite characters now, who is part of Northern Realms, and we have King Radovid. King Radovid is back, Ratty Daddy. Legendary unit, human soldier, 6 power, 10 provision. Deploy. If the base version of your leader ability has more than 1 charge, give it an additional charge. Order, repeat the deploy ability. All right. This is really good.
Yeah, this is pretty big, right? Being able to gain up to 2 more charges of your leader ability.
Crazy. So what was the idea? What's up with Ratty Daddy here?
So something that's very important to mention is that there's probably all the players that remember Radovid as kind of this offensive card, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that might feel like, where is it, right? The thing is, this is not what we want to achieve with Northern Realm anymore, right? So we've decided that instead of highlighting Radovid's like static side, right? We would instead focus on his master strategist figure. And that comes under that form of giving you more leader charge, more leeway for your big plan.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, he is a bit strategic, but also he's very crazy. So I really like the idea and the different approach this time. It's really cool. When it comes to balance changes, leader abilities, there will be some changes here to 2 leader abilities, if I'm not mistaken.
So with Radovid, we're increasing the provision count of Shield Wall in Uprising to 15.
Nice.
And with that, we hope that you'll have more variety and incentive to try out different leader abilities in the faction, especially with the card that synergizes with them. Nice.
Well, that's really cool. When it comes to a little bit on the nerf side, so the changes here, alumni once again.
People
what's happening here?
Yeah, it's been spilling a lot of ink, right? Like people expect something on alumni.
I'm not surprised.
Well, we don't necessarily believe that the deck is as busted as people sometimes make it out to be. But still, it's important, and so we've decided to address it on 2 different fronts. And the first one is that Rafat's Vengeance has proven to be a powerhouse of a card, and like one of the main driver of the game plan. So we're nerfing him by 1 provision, and it doesn't seem that big. But it actually make him out of the reach of Amphibious Assault at 10 provision, right?
Exactly.
And that means that the card consistency takes a big toll due to this. So we think this should bring the alumni-based deck, in mages in general, right, a bit more down. And the second change is that we're changing Lady Shabano so that she won't be increasing her on power, her on patience, anymore.
And I think this is the big one, at least the big highlight for me here.
This is a pretty big one because this interaction it created an exponential growth of your mages and eventually the alumni, and I think it was kind of the art of what was crystallizing player frustration. When we were seeing like these screenshots with like these gigantic values that alumnis could reach. At the same time, we realized that it was fun for some players, right? Like this kind of.
Of course it is.
But
doesn't like having 1,000,000 points.
But
I also understand that there are players who totally despise and hate this. So it made sense that it's kind of like you get 2 polar opposites.
Exactly. So we had to take a step.
Cool. Awesome. So that's it for Northern Realms. Now moving on to the best faction in the game, Skellige. Of course I had to say that. And we have Saskia Commander, legendary unit Dragon, spoiler alert, 4 power, 13 provision, immunity. Deploy. If you have at least 10 different primary categories in your starting deck, Summon a random bronze skeletal unit with a primary category that is not on your side of the battlefield from your deck to this row. That's a mouthful. At the end of your turn, lower the counter by 1. When the counter reaches 0, reset it and repeat the deploy ability. Counter 3. That is a long one.
Yeah.
But that is such a crazy cool card. That's a crazy cool ability.
We think so too.
What's going on here?
So with this card, we intend to reward players for their deck building in one hand, right? So like with the number of categories in your deck and everything, but also their ordering, right? Because Saskia is not going to be summoning card if you've filled your board with categories, all of the categories that you have in your deck. And this effect is going to be repeating every 3 turns.
Nice.
We think that immunity on this card is fine because she takes a while to develop, right? And in fact, we think that it's going to take time for players to properly develop her, and that is going to create really interesting deck building challenges for you Terry Crafter out there.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some really crazy cool decks with this one. And yeah, I think it's going to be a fun card to play for sure, for sure. When it comes to balance changes, there are some changes to movement.
Yes. So we've decided to buff a few bronzes of the movement archetype. The first one is Dread Matron, going from 5 provision to 4 provision.
Nice.
And this should be actually pretty big because historically movement has been having trouble finding good 4P targets.
Exactly.
And Dread Matron is a pretty good engine for the deck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're also changing Cutwitcher Saboteur so that his damage floor has been raised by 1.
Okay.
So before he was damaging for the number of cards that the card would travel through, right?
Exactly.
Now this is +1.
Okay.
And so what it also means is that you can target the card that is already on the leftmost position to deal 1 damage to it.
Nice.
One caveat, however, is that if you do so, the card doesn't actually move, and so your Milva is not going to be coming out of the deck.
Okay.
And this is pretty important because, as some of you probably have seen already, Saboteurs might be pretty good with Milva.
They are. That's an interesting change, though. Okay.
And one last one is that we're adding something to Abandoned Girl, and it's so that upon transforming when using her Hoarder, she will gain vitality based on the number of dryads on the row.
Oh, okay.
And she will count self, right? So at the very minimum, this is a +1.
Yeah.
So should be pretty good with
That would be
Saskia
really
Commander.
good. That
Pretty
would be
good
really
target.
good. Nice. When it comes to the stat part, of course, because we're talking about Skeletal, there are a couple nerfs.
Yes.
One is Bountiful Harvest.
Yes. So Bountiful Harvest has proven to be a very good mid-range card. And we think that it's due to the ability to easily, there was a more than 40% chance to find Sorceress, right? Which would then get you another special if your opponent was not answering it.
A lot of value, easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
The approach we've decided to take for this one is to widely open the pool by changing it from Dol Blatana elves to elves in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, and then we think that might put back a bit of dilemmas as to which card you pick depending on where you want the boost to land, right?
Nice, exactly. Really cool stuff. Moving on, we have Skellige, and the card here is Ceres Fearless. Of course, she is fearless. Legendary unit, human warrior, 4 power, 10 provision. After you've dealt damage to allied units 9 times, summon self from your deck to your ranged row. Zeal, order, fully heal all allied units and damage another allied unit by the amount healed. Cooldown 1. Wow. That is amazing for Skellige as an ability. And crazy. All of these are crazy.
Does it remind you of something?
Yes, it reminds me of something. It reminds me to old Ceres.
Well, we've been pretty inspired by a quest from Witcher 3, which is the Possession quest, which relates our encounter with the Aim, right? So, yeah, the idea is that Cyrus is gonna see that you've been hurting your units. That's weird, right? So she will come out of the deck to investigate, and then she will attempt to fix the situation by transferring, right, the cursed damage from one unit to the other.
Yeah. Nice.
This opens two different opportunities. One is to put damage from a unit that would like to be healed to a unit that will actually benefit from getting damage, right? It can be a Berserker unit, it can be Olaf, for instance. The other way to use it is to cheat the heal by healing a unit by a lot of points, right? And then proceeding to damage a low power unit.
Yeah, which makes total sense just to get it out of the board, but then like fixing all your other units pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We think it's gonna be a very interesting card for the Self-Wound archetype. I think it has the potential to kind of tie that archetype together, but at the same time it's probably quite hard to use, and we think it's gonna take time to be developed, and we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Nice. Nice, really cool. Speaking of that, also some balance changes to Self-Wound here.
Yes.
Like one change, but also something that will be good here.
It's very simple. We're decreasing Arch's provision by 1. We think we had slightly overestimated the value from him when we released the change to him. So yeah.
Another balance change to an archetype in some way is pirates.
Yeah. So just like vampires, it's the comeback of pirates from when we developed them a lot in March. It comes under the form of a full rework of the Onslaught leader ability.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, and Onslaught is now going to work with pirates and ship, right? It's going to be the main way that we hope you're going to play the deck.
Nice.
We're also reworking Demon Courser with the intention of like differentiating him from Necrat and allowing him to kind of work better with that affinity that pirates have with armor, right?
So cool, so cool. Yeah, I hope that a lot of players will actually check this deck out and play it a little bit more.
And in fact, I think they are getting even more help because a lot of veteran units are actually pirates, right?
True.
And so I think Bran is going to synergize very well, not only with the warrior deck, but also very much with the pirate deck. And especially because pirates actually have an easy time triggering excess damage.
True.
Especially through the ability of Crack and Crate.
Nice. This is all good. This is all good. But it cannot only be about the good stuff. What about the nerfs here? we have Fukusia once again.
Yeah, Fukusia once again. It's still a very versatile.
It is.
Omnipresent card in Skellige.
True.
And so for this, we're nerfing her provision to go to 14.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and in a similar way, we've also decided to increase Coral's provision by 1.
Makes sense.
Basically, we do like the discard package. We like the usage that players have of it, but we think it became too prevalent.
Yeah.
And we want players to once again think more about which consistency routes they want to be running in their Skellige deck.
Which makes total sense. Awesome, awesome. Whoa, a lot going on here in Skellige for sure. I think the other faction that we mentioned at the beginning is Monsters, where you're getting treatment for like a whole archetype. It was vampires there. Here we have the pirates. Really excited for pirates, so I really want to check that out.
Me too.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Syndicate. We have Cirrus Engelkind Hamilfar. You know Hamilfar. You know the big dude. Firesworn, of course, 3 power, 12 provision. Profit 4, deploy, spawn and play Congregation. Fee 2, destroy an allied Firesworn token, then summon a bronze Firesworn unit from your graveyard to the same position. Cooldown 1.
Oh. This is a pretty big deal for Firesworn, right? Because it's gonna allow them to be replaying their key bronze cards. which will help the deck not having to burn all of its resources away in a single round, right?
Yeah. Exactly, and I think this is going to make Firesworn players really, really happy.
Yeah,
really happy.
And in general, this is a very good card for Firesworn. It basically does everything that the deck wishes for. It generates Firesworn bodies. It gives you, it allows you to like recycle the space taken by your Firesworn token, because space is a huge problem for that archetype. It even fixes for coin, because sometimes Firesworn has trouble finding them.
That's true.
And at the same time, Firesworn also has sometimes problems spending them. So it's not the greatest spender of all time, but it's a pretty decent one.
It's pretty cool.
And one more thing I really like about this card is that since it generates a crime, it can even fit pretty well in the Firesworn crime hybrid deck, right?
Yeah, you could actually mix those two up and it will totally work with this card. Really cool, really cool. When it comes to other balance changes, Tribute, what's happening here?
So on the Tribute side, so we've released King of Beggars, which I think is going to be a really great support for that archetype, especially since he kind of eliminates this need to be replenishing your coin, right? Every time you want to be using a new tribute. And another thing that it provides is this ability to like spend away your coins, which sometimes tribute decks struggle with. I mean, I guess kind of Syndicate's deck in general.
Yeah, agreed here.
And to go along with this, we've been raising the power of Renegade Mage to 4.
Nice, really cool change. And that's it.
Yeah, I think that's everything, but that's a lot.
That's it.
I mean, that's it. That's
all
of the changes that
there's
we want.
There's only good stuff in Syndicate.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the nerf side. So
yeah,
I'm really happy with this.
And there's gonna be a few more other changes that you'll find in the patch notes, but I think we went over all of the major ones.
Exactly. Awesome, Jean. Thank you very much. That was a lot of information once again. And yeah, I shall see you soon to sign off. But Jean, if you want to wave and say goodbye to the lovely people.
See ya, everyone. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching. What an incredible video. So much information shared with you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment and like and let us know what you think about it. And yeah, I will be signing off, and let's see the finals now. Bye.